I think it'll a lot depend on our secondaries. We got a very good secondary. We've got 28 interceptions. They've got a very good secondary. I think both teams are very well equally matched.
Tom Cerasani lived in a house on Road Street in River Grove, Illinois, with his 4 sisters. He was born on September 12, 1947. He attended East Leiden High School, where he ran track, but fell in love with the game of football. He did well in school and moved on to college. He was recruited to play football at Southwest Missouri State, and after graduating from college, Tom became a high school teacher. He quickly rose in the ranks and became the head football coach at Schaumburg High School. Now, to most people who interacted with Tom, they would think that his only passion in life was coaching, but in all actuality, it was his wife, Joan. Tom and Joan met, and he was so in love that he went to her job to ask her out on a date. The two hit it off and were married on July 31st, 1971. Their family grew by 2 when the couple had their sons. With Tom teaching at Schaumburg, Joan becoming a preschool teacher, and their kids thriving as student athletes, life was good for the Cerasanis. But a new challenge would emerge. Around 1989, Joan was given the news that she had multiple sclerosis. MS is an unpredictable disease. Joan was eventually unable to walk without the assistance of a wheelchair or walker. This was hard because both Joan and Tom enjoyed going out and dancing the night away. Tom, being the problem solver he was, immediately took the lead in trying to find a cure for his wife. Tom really thrived in this situation. As a football coach, he often was in situations where he had to find a solution to a glaring problem. Coach Greg Sloan worked alongside Tom for over 20 years. After many assistant coaches had been making negative comments on the play of the team, Tom shut down the television they were watching the game film on. He wasn't having it. He told his coaches that they needed to not blame the players, but look at themselves. He was making the point that any athlete can become a better player if given the right guidance. It would take this attitude for Tom and Joan to get through many procedures throughout the years. And in 1999, magic happened with Tom's football team. Tom's positive attitude and relentless ability to keep looking for answers to problems led to the best season of his career. Schaumburg's football team was loaded with talented athletes, but it took Tom's leadership to bring them all together in a game against the number 2 team in the state. Former player Joseph Stefan recalled that Coach Cerasani would hang on the fact that special teams often would be the deciding factor in a close matchup. And in the game's 4th quarter, Schaumburg recovered a fumbled punt that changed the direction of the way the game would play out. It was also Tom's finest day coaching his secondary, as he held one of the country's best quarterbacks to a meager 69 yards passing in Schaumburg's 20-10 victory. Afterwards, he was able to celebrate a home victory with his wife right there on the field. Tom would go on to coach 5 more years before retiring to spend more time with his family. Tom's son said he gave his 2 boys a good example of how to be a great father. He loved all of his grandchildren, but he didn't worry for them as he knew he had raised 2 men that would protect them as he did for his own family. Sadly, Tom passed away on November 18, 2018, 4 years after he had lost Joan. Tom's legacy can really be summed up with one of his most often used quotes: "Always be the best person you can on and off the field." His compassion got the family through tough times when they only had each other. His determination during problem solving showed others that they could be better people by looking within themselves to be better. Tom will always be known as someone that was able to bring athletes together for a successful season, because he never viewed a season's success with wins and losses. It was judged on whether the team got better as a whole. In the end, Tom's life could be summed up with one question he asked his team after the last game of every season. It would be, "Are you happy you have done this?" If the answer is yes, then the season was a success. I believe Grandpa should be very happy with all of his life accomplishments. So yes, Grandpa's life was undoubtedly a success.
The few words I think about Grandpa Tom are football, smartness, kindness, and awesomeness.
What did Grandpa Tom mean to you as a grandfather?
He meant a lot of things. He meant some of our family's history and culture and tradition.
Like what kind of traditions did Grandpa Tom do?
Football.
What else?
I remember the Christmas Eve parties we would always have at his house.
Yeah, so family traditions?
Yes.
Okay. Your grandpa loved to solve problems. People would come to him with problems, and he would always take the time to help them. I think he actually liked it. He liked the crisis. He liked when a situation was tough because he liked to overcome it.
Hi, my name is Greg Sloan, and I coached football for Coach Tom Cerasani for over 20 years at Schaumburg High School. But more importantly, Coach Cerasani was my friend. When thinking about Tom, 3 words come to mind. First of all, hilarious. You know, most of Coach C's humor came about without him really understanding what we were all laughing about. His post-game and post-speech, his post-game and post-practice speeches oftentimes were filled with malaprops that made all of us laugh, except for Coach, of course, Coach C. Next, compassionate. Tom would always help out a student, a player, or a colleague, both on and off the field, with issues or challenges, regardless of the circumstances. And finally, relentless. Coach C fought the good fight off the field against MS. These are the words. That's my boy.
My uncle was a loyal and attentive family member and a great mentor to everyone.
I loved my Grandpa Tom. He always pushed me to do new things and made me find out that some things that I thought I hated, I actually loved. When I was little, I did not like football, if I'm being honest. But he made me just try it, and I found out that I actually really liked the sport. And the same thing was with basketball. If I was on a sports team, he would always come to my games to cheer me on, and he also taught me to be more aggressive and prepared me for the real world. He was just amazing, and we used to get breakfast together every day because we would both wake up early. I remember when I was 5 years old, we always just did things together in the morning, and I remember going with him to the coffee shop to see his friends. I remember going to the grocery store with him and talking to him about problems that I might have, and how he made me able to just stand up to people if they're being mean to me. I really miss my Grandpa Tom, but he was truly a good guy and the best football coach ever. I love you, Grandpa
Tom Cerasani was my father. He taught me a number of things in life. Some of them were to always stand straight up, be proud of who you are, never go against your family, ever. Give a firm handshake and look people in the eye when you talk.
My uncle was truly a family man. He cared so much about every single one of us, and there are a lot of us. I was a swimmer growing up, and every Christmas I would have to miss practice at home, but my Uncle Tom and I would go, and he would let me into the Schaumburg High School so I could get a workout, and he would just sit there with me for hours, I guess. And he would just sit there and watch me. He was very true to his family. Great guy, and we love him and miss him dearly.